Western Spring Television. Ours it is.
Hello viewers, good afternoon and Happy New Year 2023. We pray that the year will be a very brilliant and blessed one for us. This is the first episode of our program Spring Clinic. And it's exciting that we're starting on a good note this year and expecting that we are going to be blessed through this program. As we listen to this program, we pray that we all remain in good health and, of course, be able to seek help, correct help for our health and well-being. Today, we have an interesting topic, and what I did is to choose to see how others see our practice. What do I mean? I want us to look at the expectations of the consumers of medical practice. What are some of their expectations of a sound medical consultation? This is very important because in the last year or couple of years, we may have read in the newspapers or even reported in the radio how relatives, or at times hoodlums, people that cannot be immediately identified, break into the hospital, especially the emergency, beat up doctors, beat up nurses, and inflict injuries on them. There has been a lot of argument back and forth. Who is at first? Who is at fault? Is it the health workers or is it the relatives? Or what could be at the root cause of this particular problem? Because the hospital is a very sober place. It's a place where when people have relatives who are ill, who are troubled, take their relatives to for care. And we have known that historically, doctors are gentlemen. I hope I'm not being biased because I'm one. By virtue of the fact that we are involved in the care of the people who are ill, and at times at the point of death, even when relatives have lost all hope that such patients will survive. We have had testimonies of people saying that these doctors are next to God. On the other hand, we've also had stories where people who bring patients to doctors have had to complain that if not for the negligence of the doctors, my mother would still have been alive. My father will have been alive. My daughter will have been alive. Some could just verbalize that, and people say, don't worry, God gives, God taketh. Some take drastic steps, which are some of the cases I have cited in a good number of our teaching hospitals, especially in the Southwest here. We have had cases of relatives entering the emergency or entering the ward and holding doctors and nurses. As a matter of fact, beating them up. Why some may need to some hospital management have had to call in the law enforcement agent to be able to maintain peace and order. The rate at which this is happening is becoming troubling. And on this program, I want to ask from a legal practitioner who will soon join us, what does he think in his own experience, maybe as a consumer or as a legal practitioner for some of his clients who have come to him to complain about negligence or what they think is negligence on the part of doctors. What is it that a doctor needs to know? Because oftentimes, we doctors may not know exactly the expectations that people have of us. Could it be that people have an unfair expectations from the doctor? Could it be that the doctors themselves also parade themselves as omnipotent, give assurances that are not immediately feasible, and when there's a departure from that, there is conflict, there is unmanageable conflict? Could it be that the way some people also react could be part and parcel of a grieving process? Because, I mean, for somebody who has lost his relative after presenting at the emergency, oftentimes the next thing is not for you to hear that your relative is pronounced dead. What could be put in place by hospitals or in the law to protect doctors who may be victims of this assault? Because at times anything could have happened to such doctors who in their own mind think that they are offering their best to the patient. I think these are some of the pertinent questions that we want to address on this program. So please, we're going for a short break and then you join us for a better discussion of this topic. Thank you. Here are 5 amazing fun facts I bet you never knew about Christianity.
Number 1, there are over 2.4 billion Christians worldwide.
Amazing fun fact number 2. The Bible is one of the best-selling books of all time, with more than 100 million copies sold every year.
Most Christians believe in heaven and hell.
The Bible is the most translated book in the world, with more than 3,000 languages.
Amazing fun fact number 5. Most Christians throw science out of the window without realizing that most scientists are Christians. Hello, I am Pastor Steve Akinwumi.
And I am Dr. Adeoye Oyewole.
Join us as we highlight and discuss day-to-day issues pertaining to the day-to-day living of every Christian.
Issues in Christendom shows every Sunday on Western Spring Television, channel 190, only on StarTimes. Evelyn Ohiole,
Hi.
King Eve. How are you today?
I'm good, I'm fine, I'm alive.
I really feel like she's not giving the right answer to the question. When one asks you, how are you? And you said, you're saying, I'm alive. It's very annoying, seriously. How are you? I'm fine. I feel I'm fine would be the right answer instead of I'm alive. Not that I asked you if you're dead before.
Go and check all these 14-year-old, 15-year-old, 16-year-old, everybody, they are extraordinarily sexually active.
I feel is being unnecessarily hyper when it comes to the issue of sex, because we talk about other topics and he feels so reserved. He really doesn't have anything much to say when it comes to other stuff. But when it's the issue of sex, I believe he's being unnecessarily hyper. That's when I have to pick an issue with him. I mean, it's just being unnecessarily there when we're talking about sex. Just like a child, his mom just got him his favorite chocolate or ice cream, very happy, doing as though if he doesn't have sex for a day, he's going to die.
When it comes to finance, women also support their husbands financially. You need me emotionally. You need me spiritually.
Cassie is an amazing person, but I hate the too much attachment to that gender. I need you spiritually, I need you mentally. I can get these things anywhere with money. If you go by the topic was, who does marriage favors the most? I know how many jobless women they marry every Saturday. They are saying it favors you, favor. Are they vague so?
Growing up, when I was in the world, we've heard of
Who are you now?
Well,
MC Too Much said, he likes saying when I was in the world. And the last time I checked, but it looks a bit innocent, facially, but deep down, is he actually out of this world? We're all in the world now. As long as you're alive, you're in the world. So MC Too Much, I beg you to talk about that. I don't want to hear that. Next time you talk about I kiss my voice.
I think I have a problem with you saying ladies are champion, and that's the problem. Always trying to attach so much importance to that gender.
It's giving insecurity, it's giving low self-esteem, it's giving a blatant display of egoism. Because at the end of the day, a man who is secured in his words, a man who is confident of who he is, will not really be disturbed as to whether women are being referred to as champions or not. I mean, at the end of the day, Joseph's a really great guy, but whether he likes it or not, women are champions. Turn it up! It's the Wild Wild West, and Western Spring Television is pulling out all the stops to make sure that you don't miss out on every of the fun and happenings around you. Yup, we've got you covered because your girls got all the juiciest tidbits and entertainment news from around the world. Cross over to the chocolatey side of entertainment. Join me, Chocolate Cassie, on Eccentric as we take you into every bit of the juiciest news, fashion, music, movie updates, and other trending conversations. Together on the show, we'll get personal with your favorite celebrities via phone call, Zoom, or even live here in the studio. Eccentric will be shown on your TV screen on Western Spring Television, channel 190, only on StarTimes.
Sports is a culture on its own. It has its own language, its own people, with their own way of life. The world of sports is never void of actions, stories, dramas, and scandals. I guess you need a sports show that can walk the walk and talk the talk.
On this show, we answer all your sporting questions. The whens, the whys, the wheres, and even the what ifs. Sports Spring is that show that will give you that new lease of life you've been looking for in sport journalism. Join me, Joseph Atewe,
And your sports Amazon, Nengi Ernest.
on this station, Western Spring Television, channel 190, only on StarTimes.
Let's talk sports. Let's speak the most universal language of the world.
According to the words of Michael Forbes, one who never asks questions either knows everything or nothing. Watch me as I ask the questions you think no one wants to answer. Even questions it appears no one has got the guts to ask. My name is Femi Adefila, and I've got the gut. Let's ask the pertinent questions and watch as we get answers.
How would you like a TV station that breaks the barriers of your TV screen? A TV station that brings infotainment to your forefront, breaking the conceptual fourth wall. Giving you television that is personal to you and your everyday life. Indigenous broadcasting for every man, cutting across the shackles of age, class, and language. With the best of equipment in digitized broadcasting. At Western Spring Television, your television experience has never been this magical.
We'll bring you the best in news and programs, breaking news to you as it drops from where it drops.
Talk shows that keep you glued to your seats, sports programs not void of in-depth analysis, entertainment programs cutting across all ages, political analysis with all its accompanying controversies, social responsibility because we care. Western Nigeria gave us our first feel of television. Western Spring Television is taking us to the next level.
Western Spring Television. Ours it is.
Can you imagine the feeling when you get your news as they break with facts and clarity? Our news are reported as it is.
In Africa, and all those who masterminded the way it happened, we have to pay a price.
Enjoy Western programs, projecting culture and tradition to the world. Brought to you as the break and recapped every hour for your update.
We must never forget the sacrifices of the heroes of Nigeria's democracy.
Produced and brought to you in a unique way never before seen.
Western Spring.
Western Spring.
And Western Spring Television. Television is coming home in your color and culture.
Here are 5 amazing fun facts I bet you never knew about Christianity.
Number 1, there are over 2.4 billion Christians worldwide.
Amazing fun fact. Yes, viewers, you are welcome after the short break, and you are welcome to your favorite program, The Spring Clinic. It's an avenue through which you get to know a lot about what to do when you are ill, how to interact with the doctors and other health workers, the advice you need, and total well-being. That's what we are interested in. And today, like I said, we are going to look at the expectations of a good medical consultation. What makes a good medical consultation? And like I said in the introduction, I said of late, we've had issues in some of our teaching hospitals where after a loss of the life of a patient, hoodlums or some patient relatives invade the hospital, beat up doctors in about 3 or 4 of our major teaching hospitals in the Southwest. And it's worrisome because, like I said, against the tradition of the medical practice and our society, this has not always been the case. So it's worrisome, and then we want to look at it from a consumer and also from a legal viewpoint. And I have the privilege of having my brother here, a legal practitioner, Barrister Israel Adelaku. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. It's a privilege to be here this afternoon.
Thank you so much, sir. I'm just trying to look at it. What do you have to say about people just invading emergencies and beating up doctors?
It's quite unfortunate, to be sincere. We don't know how we got here. But we need to understand that there are certain rights that a patient have when it comes to medical
consultation.
You know, when you don't treat them well, people, you know, we are humans. People tend to not be overwhelmed with emotions, and then they just, you know, go all out. You know,
but you know, the traditional belief we have always had is that anytime somebody loses his life, traditionally nobody wants to see that the doctor has done any wrong. It's like as though doctors are gods, and people say, those doctors, they tried, but God did not give them. And if anybody talks of raising any issue, it is usually killed. What has brought us to this point that, of course, people don't now take recourse to the normal legal process, and it has to be in terms of fisticuffs. They want to actually manhandle even medical practitioners. What do you think is responsible, and what do you think can actually help to, you know, to allay this practice?
Well, I would say that our culture growing up didn't really, you know, help, so to say. You know, when you visit a medical practitioner's office, rather, and then you are attended to, and then, you know, there are times you feel like this person has not handled this issue well. It does not, maybe because one of the rights that you have is to be informed properly.
Absolutely. And I think this is a very good point you're making. Yes, I think for doctors, we are trained to interview because there's what we call part of our clinical method is to ask correct questions.
Yes, sir.
In the process, I think there may be some deficiency, as you're mentioning, on the part of doctors to properly give information.
Yes, sir. It's very important because I approach a doctor for a particular thing I'm feeling in my body, and then I feel like there's a confidence that would be instilled in the patients depending on how the doctor actually informed them of these are the options that are available, these are the things that could be done. So once they are well informed, it's their right to choose whether to go ahead with the treatment or to withdraw their consent.
Okay, so what you're telling me now is that an average patient or patient relatives wants the doctor, apart from, you know, making the diagnosis, want to treat and all of that,
yes, sir,
they want to be informed properly.
Absolutely.
That this is my limitation. Limitation is also part of it.
Yes, sir.
But you see, in the face of the fact that medical practice has become some business, they are there of talking about limitation, and then, you know, we are from a very religious background.
Absolutely.
They say no, you know, some people have the opinion that maybe doctors need to appear confident. So what you're letting us know here is that to a good medical consultation, you don't need to, you don't need to give information that is false. You also need to tell the people your limitations.
Yeah. Then
the outcome, I guess.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Where it's doctor's position is quite likened to a lawyer's position. A client will approach you and then will tell you, this is the issues I'm going through. So it is your position to tell them, okay, now, of course, you expect the patient to be open.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I feel. This is how I feel in my body. And then your position is now to say, oh, these are the options available.
Okay.
After doing that, you tell them, you don't have to be forced. You tell them the chances they have. That will give them the opportunity to decide one way or the other. Because it's their right to decide. Their right, they give you the consent and they can withdraw it.
For instance, I work in a teaching hospital. I don't know what your experience will be like. I hear people on the street say, those people in teaching hospital, till the patient died, they will be asking you, who gave birth to your father? Your father. When, you know, what we call clerkship. And you know, beyond even any investigations at all, information given can help a lot about the management of the patient.
Yes, sir.
We have had instances where in the process of trying to ask questions, call another person to come and ask questions, and the patient develops some trouble. Of course, some patients that are already bad being brought. And the patient, since the doctor is not God, he needs some basic information.
Yes, sir.
And in the process, the patient dies, and then they want to beat up the patient. They want to beat up the doctor. So what's your comment about that, you know, with respect to?
I would say that we need to balance the whole thing. Because as we talk about the patient's rights, we're talking about the doctor's rights and then their capacity as a doctor. Like you rightly said, doctors are not God.
They are not.
They are not God. When they are in a particular situation, they need to assess it to know that, okay, these are the right things to do. What do I do in this situation? And like you said also, you need to present them some information apart from what they can see in front of them. They need to ask questions, but we need to know that, this person is not doing this at the expense of the person's life.
Absolutely. Now, I'm curious about the fact that why don't we have, or maybe it's not too known, why don't we have relatives beat up spiritual healers or some of our traditional doctors? You understand what I'm saying?
Yes,
so why is it that it is commoner with the orthodox medical practitioners? I'm just curious because we don't hear. It could happen here and there, but it hardly ever happens.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So could it be that they are taking advantage of the fact that we are orthodox and that we are open? Or what? I'm trying to...
I believe that there are different angles to that.
Okay.
Because when you approach a traditional medical practitioner, there's a fear. Some of them believe they have certain powers that you don't want to dare to touch the person. So it that serves as maybe protection for them.
Okay.
That people are ordinarily scared. Like in our what's it called, culture now, we are religious.
Absolutely.
We are religious. So once they know that, this person is a traditional person, they know that this person has certain things to protect himself. So rather than beat up the person, they would rather want to probably look for other options.
That's okay, sir. Yeah, but you are a lawyer.
Yes, sir.
I want to ask from your experience, have you had some of your clients ever, maybe where you practice or from some of your colleagues, coming and approaching the lawyer, that I feel a little aggrieved or quite aggrieved that my patient was mismanaged and the person died? And if you have had such experiences, why is it that we've not had many cases coming to court?
All right. When I've had, to answer your first question,
yes,
I've had situations like that where the patient was not, they feel that the patient was not properly treated.
Okay.
So they feel aggrieved by that fact, and then they didn't like the way the whole thing went and all. So they approached our office. And then there's another, the other question you asked, that why don't people explore the legal aspects?
Yes.
People just generally have this idea of, if you don't have money, you cannot do this.
Case.
If you don't have, or there's little chance of coming out with the right results that you want. But
or they're also blackmailed by their pastors and imam or the family heads that they should let the spirit of that dead body let it rest.
They just feel it's, since whatever legal action you take cannot bring back the dead, just let it rest, let the person rest in peace. However, these things will continue if nobody is taking any step.
So you feel there are chances people have if they go to court?
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you feel aggrieved and then you approach your lawyer, the lawyer, I'm sure, is going to listen to you and tell you the chances you have, tell you the rights you have, and tell you where you have done wrong or you have done right.
Because oftentimes, some of the positions the patient relatives come with is assumptions.
Yes.
There's a particular equipment.
There's emotion attached to it. This is my brother. I feel... And it's a feeling. I feel there's something.
Or there's one particular equipment. Somebody that does not even know about anything in medicine, that they should have brought that equipment. Yeah. They should have given him oxygen. They should have given him. I was joking with a friend yesterday, a doctor. He said some of them will say, hey, how many bags of water did they put in his body? And that he tells them that this person does not need water. Yeah. We even need drug to remove the water. A friend of mine who is practicing. So in a lot of cases, I think there may be some form of communication gap.
Yes.
Possibly between the doctors and the patient relatives.
Yes. That's why, I said earlier that you need to properly inform them. However, it's not like you call a family meeting to inform them that this is what is happening, because everybody just wants to know. But it's not everybody that has the right to know.
Absolutely. But some doctors too may not also be keen in giving information.
Yes. And that's where they are in the wrong. If you know the right people to address where a particular patient that doesn't have the capacity to give or withhold the consent. You know that, oh, I should approach this person and tell them, okay, if you are in charge of these patients,
this is how far we have gone. This is what we are thinking.
Yes, these are the chances the person has. Once you have done that, I believe that reasonably you have done your best.
I think the issue of referral is also a problem, where some doctors also don't want to let go of their patients after treating to a certain point, within where their hospital can no longer. But there's also a belief system that could also cause injury to this interaction between doctors and their relatives. There's what we call postmortem. Postmortem, it may be difficult to prosecute a case. I don't know what instruments you need to use as a lawyer. But it's also important that after a patient is dead and both parties are alleging, there's what we call postmortem. In other words, there's a set of doctors who go there and then look at the body, inspect the body, cut the body, and see whether what is alleged is what has taken place. I don't know what you see your comment, because there are some belief system here in our culture here that does not permit anybody dismembering the body. I don't know what's your comment about that.
Yes, that is very important. You know that when it comes to knowing the cause, because like you said the other time, that many people just go and run away with assumptions. You need to know the cause, because you may think it's because this person, in your own opinion, this person didn't do the right thing. And however, the person actually tried his best.
Yes.
But because you feel out of your emotions that this person could have done this other thing. And of course, when there's postmortem conducted, you know the cause of the. So even if you are going to court,
you will need it, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So it means even
depending
the legal
on the case,
even the legal process itself cannot become successful without postmortem.
Yes,
so it
depends on the sensitivity of the case.
Okay.
So you may need to. Of course, it depends on how, like I said, on how the case goes, whether it's to be needed or it will not be needed. But if it will needed, you will definitely need it.
That's important. So our viewers at home, I hope we are listening and learning from this discussion that you have rights to ask your doctors what is going on. You have rights to ask them, what is your capacity, Abi, my barrister, for managing this patient? And tell us if we need to take this patient to another hospital. Also, we have also learned today too that we don't need to take laws into our hands and then postmortem. At times, it's very good that we know, not even for going to court alone. I think for us to also know whether this thing runs in the family, so that those of us that are even alive can learn from that. So, Barrister, what do you also have to tell us as a parting message for this very important discussion?
I would like
what makes a good medical consultation?
I would like to say that a good medical consultation, you would need to probably, let me speak to the doctors now.
Yes, please.
You need to understand that your patients have rights. And part of it is that you need to inform them properly, like I rightly said.
Yes, please.
You need to let them know the pros and the cons, the chances they have, the different methods that can be used to sort
that problem. The options available.
The options
and then possible referral.
Yes, and you need to know that they understand. Another thing is they need to have confidence that their information is safe. Confidentiality is very, very important.
How about the people, the relatives too? What do they also need to learn too about us doctors, so that they will stop beating us up?
People need to understand that this, even if someone is in the wrong, the person still has right. So you may be right and then be wrong eventually because of how you try to enforce your right.
Yeah, and some may even think we are wrong because of their limited knowledge. And they think we have not done our best. Meanwhile, we have done the best. Some of these patients have been taken several places before they bring you, and the patient dies here, and they want to beat you up. Yeah.
Ignorance is not to be encouraged.
Thank you very much.
Once you just need to know, okay, this is the right thing, these are the wrong things.
Viewers at home, I hope we have actually learned one or two things from this program. I want to thank my brother Barrister Israel Adelakun for coming despite a very short notice, and the fact that he has shed some good light on what a good medical consultation is and the expectations of a good medical consultation. I want to advise us at home that we have rights to ask doctors what is going on. We have rights to ask what is actually wrong. And to my colleagues too, the younger ones, as part of our training, which we keep training the younger ones, information is important to the right people. We need to carry the patients along. We need to carry the relatives along. We also need to know our limitations. And of course, to properly advise. Because what we do is we don't force relatives or patients to go to a particular hospital, but we put the options available. I sincerely appreciate your coming.
It's a privilege, sir.
I wish you a very happy new year.
Same.
And then we'll still be having you on this program from time to time.
Yeah,
Thanks so much. Viewers at home, we thank you for staying with us, and we hope you have enjoyed this episode. We're going to come again with another very interesting topic this same time next week on channel 190 Star Time. Thank you and bye-bye. Here are